I hate to break it to you, but some of our favorite retro TV shows from the 70s and 90s were not just over, they were canceled early. But why? Were these shows too ahead of their times, problematic, or was the reason something scarier? All we know is that these shows had the potential to become absolute legends, but favoritism led to these disappointments. What shows are we talking about? Let's get into it. Number 21, The Monkees. The Monkees was a beloved TV show that aired from 1966 to 1968, following a fictional rock band made up of Davy Jones, Mickey Dolenz, Peter Tork, and Michael Nesmith. The show featured slapstick comedy, upbeat adventures, and catchy songs, becoming a hit in its first season with younger audiences. It was a creative blend of sitcom and music video, winning an Emmy Award. Also, did you know that the show was revived in 1976? But still, it was canceled after 2 seasons. One reason for its cancellation was declining ratings. By the second season, the audience had started to dislike the show, as the Monkees' humor and style felt increasingly out of touch with the counterculture movement of the late 1960s. The group wanted more creative control over the music and the series, causing tensions. To stay fresh, the show experimented with surreal storytelling, which didn't resonate with all viewers. Next up, number 20, The Greatest American Hero. The Greatest American Hero was a superhero comedy drama that aired from 1981 to 1983. The show follows Ralph Hinckley, a mild-mannered high school teacher who is given a superpowered suit by aliens. But here's the twist in the story. He loses the instruction manual, so he has to figure out how to use his new superpowers through trial and error, often with hilarious and clumsy results. Later, he teams up with an FBI agent, Bill Maxwell, and his girlfriend, Pam, to fight crime and save the day despite his awkward attempts to master the suit. The show was a hit at first because it had a unique mix of humor, action, and charm. The theme song, Believe It or Not, also became a pop sensation. However, it struggled to maintain its momentum. Ratings dropped after the first season as the storylines began to feel too repetitive, and the originality of Ralph's fumbling with the suit wore off. Additionally, behind-the-scenes conflicts and changes in the show's time slot hurt its audience retention. By the third season, it was clear the show wasn't gaining any income, and it was canceled. Number 19 is My So-Called Life. My So-Called Life was a teen drama that aired for just 1 season from 1994 to 1995. The story is about a 15-year-old Angela Chase, played by Claire Danes, as she navigates the ups and downs of high school, friendships, family dynamics, and first loves. The show was praised for its raw, realistic portrayal of teenage life, tackling issues like identity, peer pressure, and unrequited love, and with honesty and depth. Angela's inner monologues gave viewers a window into her complex emotions, making her a relatable and unforgettable character. But even with its widespread praise and loyal audience, the series was discontinued after 19 episodes. Its cancellation was largely due to low ratings, as it struggled to find a consistent audience during its original run. Competing with traditional networks, the show's introspective tone makes it difficult to attract mainstream viewers desired by advertisers. There was also behind-the-scenes factors, including Claire Danes' reluctance to continue with the series, as she wanted to focus on her film career. Next, we have The Richard Pryor Show for number 18. The Richard Pryor Show was a sketch comedy series that aired in 1977 on NBC. Hosted and created by legendary comedian Richard Pryor, the show was bold, edgy, and way ahead of its time. It included a mix of satire, social critique, and absurd humor, showcased through Pryor's bold comedic perspective. With a talented ensemble cast including Robin Williams, Tim Reed, Marsha Warfield, and Sandra Bernhard, the show tackled topics like race, politics, and American culture in ways that were both hilarious and thought-provoking. Even though Pryor had immense talent, the show only lasted 4 episodes before being canceled. The primary cause was its provocative and consistently boundary-pushing content. But what would have made the show controversial? Well, Pryor refused to tone down his humor, which clashed with the network's desire for a more mainstream, family-friendly program. The creative tension led to conflicts behind the scenes, and NBC ultimately decided to pull the plug. Number 17 is Fame. Fame was a musical drama series that aired from 1982 to 1987, inspired by the 1980 movie of the same name. The show followed the lives of students and faculty at New York City's High School for the Performing Arts, as they pursued their dreams of stardom while dealing with the challenges of everyday life. It blended sincere drama with lively dance and music showcases, highlighting characters such as Leroy, Coco, Bruno, and Miss Sherwood. Themes of ambition, self-discovery, and perseverance resonated with audiences, along with memorable taglines like, "You want fame? Well, fame costs, and right here is where you start paying in sweat." While the show was a hit in its early seasons, its popularity began to decline as the years went on. Cast changes made it harder for fans to stay connected to the characters, and the storylines became repetitive over time. By the late 1980s, ratings had dropped significantly and the show was canceled in 1987 after 6 seasons. Next up is number 16, Twin Peaks. Twin Peaks was a mystery drama series that first aired in 1990, created by David Lynch and Mark Frost. The show quickly became a cult classic, blending elements of small-town drama, surrealism, and crime mystery. It was centered around the investigation of the murder of a high school student, Laura Palmer, in the quirky town of Twin Peaks. As FBI agent Dale Cooper dives deeper into the case, he uncovers bizarre secrets about the town and its residents, many of whom have strange and eerie connections. The show's unique style and dreamlike storytelling set it apart from other TV shows. However, despite its early success and devoted fan base, Twin Peaks was canceled after 2 seasons in 1991. One of the key reasons for its cancellation was the show's growing complexity and unusual narrative, which made it hard for mainstream viewers to follow. Once the mystery of Laura Palmer's death was solved, the plot became even more strange and unbelievable, leading to a drop in ratings. The network also had trouble understanding the show's unconventional approach, which caused tension with the creators. Number 15, The Bad News Bears. The Bad News Bears was a comedy series that aired from 1979 to 1980, based on the 1976 movie of the same name. The show followed a misfit Little League baseball team coached by a grumpy, down-on-his-luck former minor league player named Morris Buttermaker, played by Tony Curtis in the TV version. The misfit kids formed an unlikely bond under Buttermaker's tough coaching despite lacking real skills. While the movie had been a hit, the TV series struggled to capture the same magic. One of the main reasons for its cancellation was that it didn't quite match the tone of the original film. The show was toned down for TV, which made it feel less edgy and rebellious, leading to a loss of the movie's appeal. Also, it faced stiff competition from other shows and had trouble building an audience. The humor, which was rougher and more adult in the film, did not translate well to a weekly TV format, and the series struggled to gain attention. Number 14 is Sledgehammer. Sledgehammer was a satirical police procedural that aired from 1986 to 1988. The show followed the over-the-top gun-happy detective Sledgehammer, played by David Rash, who was known for his extreme tactics and practical law enforcement approach. With his catchphrase, "Trust me, I know what I'm doing," Hammer often solved crimes by blowing things up using excessive force and disregarding proper procedures. The show mimicked the serious cop dramas of the time, blending wild humor with action, and was known for its dark comedy and overblown style. It was canceled after 2 seasons. The viewers felt like the humor was too much for some viewers, while others found its portrayal of violent, reckless detective too exaggerated. The series had a strong, loyal fan base, but was often overshadowed by more traditional cop shows. At number 13, we had The Adventures of Briscoe County Jr. The Adventures of Briscoe County Jr. was a fun and quirky Western action TV series that aired from 1993 to 1994. The show starred Bruce Campbell as Briscoe County Jr., a Harvard-educated bounty hunter in the late 1800s, tasked with bringing justice to the American frontier. Now, what made the show stand out? Well, it had a unique blend of traditional Western elements with sci-fi and comedy. Briscoe's adventures often involved chasing down outlaws, but also encountering mysterious artifacts, high-tech gadgets, and even supernatural elements, all with a tongue-in-cheek tone. Despite its creative and fun approach, The Adventures of Briscoe County Jr. struggled with low ratings. It was often caught between genres, too impossible for traditional Western fans and not quite quirky enough for mainstream audiences. The network also moved the show around in the schedule, which hurt its consistency and viewer base. After just 1 season, the show was canceled. Number 12, The Amazing Spider-Man. The Amazing Spider-Man was a live-action TV series that aired from 1977 to 1979. The show starred Nicholas Hammond as Peter Parker, a photographer who becomes Spider-Man using his superhuman abilities to fight crime in New York City. The series focused more on Peter Parker's struggles to balance his superhero life with his personal life, rather than the action-packed adventures typical of Spider-Man in the comics. It also took a somewhat more grounded approach to the character and his powers, with limited use of the iconic web-slinging abilities compared to what was seen in the comics. The show was met with mixed reviews but gained a small loyal following. However, it was canceled after just 2 seasons. The main reasons for its cancellation were its limited special effects, which made it harder to compete with other more action-packed TV shows of its time. And its slower, more character-driven storytelling didn't always capture the excitement fans expected from a Spider-Man show. Number 11 is Alf. Alf was a sitcom that aired from 1986 to 1990, centered around a wisecracking alien named Gordon Shumway, aka Alf, who crash lands on the suburban home of the Tanner family. Alf, a furry, sarcastic creature from the planet Melmac, quickly becomes part of the family despite his tendency to get himself into trouble. The show blended humor and sci-fi elements as the Tanners tried to hide Alf's existence from the outside world, particularly from the government, which wanted to capture him. The show was a big hit during its early years thanks to Alf's hilarious one-liners and mischievous antics, and his charm. But it didn't last long. Alf began to struggle in later seasons, and by the 4th season, the show's humor started to feel too repetitive, and the newness of Alf's character began to wear off. The network also faced creative tensions with the show's producers, and there were behind-the-scenes challenges, including the cast's withering interest in the series. Number 10, we have Millennium. Millennium was a dark atmospheric crime drama that aired in 1996 to 1999. The show, created by Chris Carter, follows Frank Black, played by Lance Henriksen, a former FBI profiler with the ability to see into criminals' minds, set in the years leading up to the Millennium. Frank works for the Millennium Group, a secretive organization dedicated to investigating and stopping violent crimes, many of which have disturbing, often apocalyptic themes. While Millennium earned critical praise for its writing, performances, and atmosphere, it struggled with ratings throughout its run. One part of the issue was that it was too bleak and intense for the mainstream audience, often delving into dark subject matter that made it difficult for many viewers to embrace. Also, the series was overshadowed by The X-Files, another show created by Chris Carter, which was more popular. The show was ultimately canceled after 3 seasons due to low ratings and creative differences. At number 9, we have Policewoman. Policewoman was a TV series that aired from 1974 to 1978. It starred Angie Dickinson as Officer Peggy Gordon. Meanwhile, did you know that this show featured the first female police officer in prominent roles in a crime drama? The series takes place in an urban setting, following Peggy as she goes undercover to solve different criminal cases while also confronting the difficulties of being a woman in a male-dominated field. At the time, Policewoman was a significant show because it broke new ground for women in television. Angie Dickinson's performance was widely praised, and the show became a hit, drawing in viewers and earning critical acclaim. Eventually, despite its initial success, Policewoman was canceled after 4 seasons in 1978. The decline in ratings, coupled with the rising popularity of other police procedurals, contributed to this decision. At number 8, we have Moonlighting. Moonlight was a romantic dramedy series that aired from 1985 to 1989. It starred Bruce Willis as David Addison and Sybil Shepherd as Maddie Hayes, 2 unlikely partners who run a detective agency called the Blue Moon Detective Agency. David was a charming, wisecracking detective, while Maddie was a more serious, no-nonsense ex-model, who initially didn't want to work in the detective business, but found herself running the agency alongside David. The show became a massive hit, particularly due to the chemistry between Willis and Shepherd, making the will they, won't they tension irresistible for audiences. The show's tone and styles were fresh and innovative, making it stand out during its time. Moonlighting faced several challenges that did eventually lead to its cancellation. The production schedule became unstable due to long gaps between seasons, primarily because of the show's complicated writing process and the personal tensions between the lead actors. As the years went on, the focus on this central romantic storyline surpassed the detective plots, which some viewers found disappointing. Ratings would drop, and after 5 seasons, the show was canceled in 1989. At number 7, we have Relativity. Relativity was a romantic drama series that aired on ABC. The show explores the complex relationships between groups of friends and family, focused primarily on the romance between 2 characters, Roger and Clara. The series talks about the ups and downs of love, marriage, and personal growth, offering a fine look at how romantic relationships and family dynamics evolve over time. But what sets Relativity apart from the rest of the shows? Well, it was a realistic portrayal of modern relationships, often highlighting the emotional challenges and conflicts that people face when they navigate love and life. Even with strong acclaim for its writing and performances, Relativity faced low ratings. One contributing factor was its timing, as the show aired amidst a crowded television landscape, causing viewers to not consistently engage with its slow-burn romantic drama. Moreover, the series struggled to draw a sufficiently large enough audience to remain on the air. After one season, Relativity was canceled, leaving many fans disappointed. Number 6, we have MASH. MASH was a highly successful TV show that aired in 1972 to 1983, and it remains one of the most beloved shows in television history. The show is set during the Korean War and follows the staff of the 4077th Mobile Army Surgical Hospital MASH and their experiences as doctors and nurses in dangerous conditions. While it was technically a military medical drama, MASH blended humor and drama in a way that was groundbreaking at that time. The show starred Alan Alda as Captain Benjamin Franklin Pierce, a talented and wise surgeon who used humor to cope with the horrors around him. The cast also included characters like Trapper John, the cynical but caring surgeon, and Radar O'Reilly, the young, sensitive clerk. Over the years, the show introduced new characters including Margaret Hot Lips Houlihan, Colonel Potter, and B.J. Honeycutt, which kept the series fresh and relevant. MASH became incredibly popular during its run, with its blend of comedy and social commentary resonating with viewers. Its final episode, Goodbye, Farewell, and Amen, aired in 1983 and set a record for the most watched television episode in U.S. history at that time, with over 105 million viewers. Despite its long run and popularity, MASH was eventually canceled due to a combination of natural story exhaustion and the decision of key cast members, particularly Alden, who felt the show had reached its peak. The show's finale wrapped up many of the storylines, leaving a lasting impact on television. And now we're on to number 5, V. V was a science fiction TV series that originally aired in 1983 and ran for a total of 2 seasons. The show began with a 2-part miniseries that introduced a mysterious alien race known as the Visitors, who arrive on Earth claiming to come in peace, led by the charismatic Diana, played by Jane Badler. The Visitors are revealed to be reptilian aliens in disguise planning to take over the planet. As they disguise their true intentions, they manipulate governments and people, offering advanced technology while secretly harvesting Earth's resources and preparing for domination. A group of rebels, including reporter Mike Donovan and biologist Julie, begin to uncover the Visitors' true nature and form a resistance to fight back. Despite its early popularity and dedicated fan base, the show was canceled after its second season in 1985 due to failing ratings and conflicts over creative direction. The show had a difficult time maintaining the momentum from its miniseries. Number 4, we have Herman's Head. Herman's Head was a sitcom that aired in 1991 to 1994, offering a unique twist on the classic workplace comedy. The show focused on Herman Brooks, played by Hank Azaria, an office worker who dealt with everyday life in the most relatable way. However, the unique aspect of the show was that it depicted Herman's inner emotional world as a literal setting, with different characters representing his emotions, thoughts, and desires. It was essentially Inside Out before Inside Out was a thing. Inside his head were 4 distinct characters: Angel, representing his good side; Animal, his primal instincts; Wimp, his insecurity; and Brain, his intellect. These characters often interacted with and influenced Herman's decisions and reactions, creating humorous and often chaotic situations. Even though the show had good reviews, Herman's Head faced low ratings and was canceled after 3 seasons. The concept didn't fully resonate with mainstream viewers, and the changing time slots contributed to its struggles. At number 3, we have a romantic show, Bridget Loves Bernie. Bridget Loves Bernie was a sitcom that aired in 1972, lasting for 1 season. The show revolves around the unlikely relationship between Bridget, a wealthy Catholic woman, and Bernie, a Jewish man, as they navigate the challenges of their interfaith marriage. Bridget is portrayed by Meredith Baxter, who would later become famous for Family Ties, and Bernie is played by David Burney. It also made history as one of the first TV shows to feature an interfaith marriage, which was still a somewhat taboo topic in the media. The show has progressive themes appealing to some viewers, but it faced controversy, particularly from religious groups opposing its portrayal of an interfaith relationship. The series was canceled after just 1 season due to low ratings, partly because the controversial subject matter alienated some viewers and sparked too many debates. At number 2, we have The Wonder Years. The Wonder Years was a heartwarming coming-of-age drama that aired from 1988 to 1993. The show, set in 1960s and early 1970s, followed the life of Kevin Arnold as he navigated the ups and downs of adolescence in suburban America. Narrated by an adult Kevin, the series reflected on his experiences growing up, dealing with family issues, friendships, school life, and first love, all set against the backdrop of historical and cultural events of the time. Kevin's relationships with his family, especially his parents and his friends, particularly his best friend Paul and his crush Winnie, formed the emotional core of the series. It won multiple awards, including an Emmy for Fred Savage's performance, and became a cultural touchstone, beloved by audiences for its relatable themes and memorable moments. The series was canceled after 6 seasons in 1993, mainly due to declining ratings, as the show's focus shifted away from Kevin's childhood to his teenage years, which some fans felt wasn't as engaging. And last, we have The Pretender. The Pretender was a science fiction drama series that aired from 1996 to 2000. The show followed the story of Jared, played by Michael T. Weiss, a highly intelligent and resourceful man with the ability to pretend to be anyone he chooses. Jared can quickly adopt any profession or skill, from doctor to pilot to scientist, which he uses to help people or solve problems. His extraordinary talents developed during captivity by the Center, where he was experimented on as a child prodigy. As an adult, Jared escapes the Center and embarks on a quest to uncover the truth about his past and exposes the corrupt organizations that controlled him. It featured Jared adopting new identities, keeping audiences hooked with its intriguing mystery about the Center's dark secrets. Although it enjoyed early success and a dedicated fan base, The Pretender faced rating challenges in subsequent seasons. Creative issues emerged, and some fans expressed dissatisfaction, believing that the central mystery was not advancing swiftly enough, coupled with narrative shifts that left many viewers unhappy. After 4 seasons, the series was canceled in 2000. And that is the end of today's video. What is your favorite TV show? And does it happen to be on this list? Comment below your answers. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out this one, where we go over the most classic TV shows that defined the 60s to the 90s. Thank you for watching.